Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you here today for the fourth round of XRL's Dev Series here, the second season for the league here on F1 2021. I'm your host for today's broadcast, St. Larry 13. I'm joined by Ocean Lion once more as we're preparing to get underway for the first round of qualifying here at Silverstone, the pinnacle of Formula One racetracks, unless you're really a big Brands Hatch fan like I am. Anyways, we're preparing to get onto the circuit right now. We're already seeing some drivers take out onto the track right now, or at least making their way out of pit lane. We see the Mercedes driven by Kinsey Retro already pulling out of his pit box. Important thing to consider though, Q1, typically only the top 15 fastest go from Q1 into Q2. However, two drivers, Basic 2 and Extreme F1, both are serving qualifying bans. They will not be running in this, meaning that we have 14 drivers on track, and none of them have to really worry too much about making it to the next round. You can go ahead now. Deja Vu TV also retires in the pit lane, so 13 drivers, all they have to do is just go out there, set a lap. It could be a 3-minute lap. They're still guaranteed to make it into the next round of qualifying. Of note, everyone right now is on the medium tire compounds, with the exception of XRL Flavor and JR Footballer. They both have medium tires on. I'm sorry. Everyone else has soft tires currently equipped to their cars. Lion, can you hear me? Ocean Lion, can you hear me? Oh, and Collie Boy in the Williams has spun out right in the final corner, just as he was on the end of his out lap. Doesn't look like he's hit anything, but this definitely has given him some issues. Ocean Lion, can you hear me? I'm gonna check something here. I'm not getting anything from him, so there may be a technical issue on his side of the box right now. Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, Ocean Lion, I won't force you to stay in the broadcast party. If you think you should leave, go ahead. I'm not going to hold that against you. But thanks for the heads up. As we see Collie Boy now in the middle of his lap, although this will be a relatively slow lap compared to some of the others because he ended up going and spinning before he even got to the line, so he's going to have a slow initial speed to start that lap off with. This is TIF Mr. Shark. He's in the middle of a lap right now. Also of note, JR Footballer. He is on track right now on the medium tires, so we'll be interested to see how that compares. Also, Zen Guy has gone ahead and thrown on a set of mediums as well for this session. So TF Mr. Shark now coming out of the final corner in the Alpine. He'll set the time that everyone will be going for, 129.114. But again, 13 drivers trying to set times. You don't have to set or beat that time right now. I would almost, if it was me in this position, I'd go ahead and use this as a glorified stint test session. Throw a set of softs on, load the car up with as much fuel as you want, get an idea as to how it will handle over the stint of a tire run. It's Dave Ewart in the Mercedes right now as he's in the middle of a lap. Did you just fix your mic? Because all of a sudden I can hear myself through your mic. Well, I could. I can't now. I did for like 5 seconds there. Watching the Mercedes he's going out at it right now, but what I really want to do here is to see both AK Herbie and SFR Shu in the middle of outlaps. SFR Shu in the McLaren. What we're going to do, as Zengai and GR Football have both gone to the top on medium tires, we're going to go silent for a lap. I'm right on board with the McLaren as SFR Shu. See what it is like to ride a full lap here around Silverstone in these cars. And SFR Shu goes to the top, 28.002. We're going to try and get Dad Stop Gaming into the party, because while we were riding on board, Dad Stop Gaming had a big accident that kept him from setting a lap. He had just invalidated a lap prior, and then on a subsequent lap had a big accident. Now he will not be able to go far. Third, JR Footballer and Kinsey Retro both retired relatively early in the session after setting up laps early on. aka Herbie, just crosses the line with the fourth fastest time, 128.414. This is Exro Zola, one of your championship contenders, as he's trying to navigate his way out of the final corners right now. Alright, and I do want to say to Ocean Line, thank you for trying to reach out and help and try and sticking around to try and get the stuff working. Sadly, it did not work out for you, mate, but I still appreciate the fact that you were trying to do it anyway. So here comes Zola, 106.080 at the end of Sector 2 here. We could be done with this qualifying session relatively early, because Zola and Flavor are the only two drivers left to have to set times. And it looks like we're only going to get 12 people advancing to the next round. Out of the final corner, here comes Zola in the Red Bull. He will set a time, 131.048. You can see he immediately started swerving before he even got to the line. So no real push on their part to try and get a faster lap in. That was outstanding. That was impressive. Flavor is he's navigated his way around Herbie, who's on a cooldown lap right now. SFR Shu in the McLaren, though, he's still pumping out faster and faster laps. He's now into the 27th with 27.741. So 3/10 faster than next closest man. But as I say that, Collie Boy has now improved on his time, 27.904. Herbie is actually not letting Flavor get too far away. Actually, was close enough to get a draft and DRS off of him down that straight there. But he will bring it into the pits irregardless. Flavor will be the last driver who needs to set a time in the session, and he'll do it on the medium rubber. He will set a 129.490. That's good assist at the moment. Of note, I Get Dubs in the Alpine is in the middle of an outlap right now. Zingai has also retired in the pit lane with JR Footballer and Kinsey Retro. This is SFR Shu. He's invalidated this lap. This here is Collie Boy. He is low on fuel and already on a bit of a cooldown lap right now. So an extremely low stakes first round of qualifying here. We'll see 12 drivers advance out. Again, Dad Stop Gaming did not serve a qualifying ban. He crashed out before he could get a lap in. And then Basic 2, Extreme F1, and Deja Vu TV all serving qualifying bans. Collie Boy now into the pits. Give me just a second. Flavor goes faster by a bit over a tenth of a second. He's still about 1500ths off from Kinsey Retro at 9th. Can you hear me? I hear nothing from you right now. Oh, there we are. Hey, back in the party is Ocean Lion. You've finally gotten your hardware issues fixed. Great to actually have you on board now. So as it stands right now, a little less than 5 minutes left in the session, and we're just waiting to see who else is going to bother coming out to try and go for faster laps or not, because there are 4 drivers out on track: XRL Flavor, I Get Dubs, TF Mr. Shark, and Reese in 13. Dubs invalidated this lap, but he is up by a significant amount of time. I think he's just trying to get a time that's a little bit more indicative of what his actual pace is. And although that 140 will get him into the next round simply because of so few drivers, we have it right now. I think he wants to really show what he really has. Really, stretch the wings of that Alpine. You don't actually want to stretch the wings too much, because then you can end up getting disqualified for having flexi wings. Also of note, Dubs' teammate, TIF Mr. Shark, is still out on the circuit right now, but he is down by 7/10 at the end of Sector 2. I'm not 100% sure. I think he's just going out there and pounding laps out on one set of tires right now, not really trying to go faster or anything. He's probably just using this as a measurement for what the stint is going to be like, how the tires will fall off as the stint goes on. And he's down by about 6/10 right now, and that's his 4th lap on that set of rubber. Also, SFR Shu has come back out for another outlap, so he wants to go even faster. Although, in his case, I'm going to be a little concerned about him, crashing, because he's already put a good amount of wear on those tires. Zolo now retires in the pit lane. I Get Dubs is in the middle of this lap, and he has invalidated this one as well. He's gaining bunches of time just by not making mistakes, of course, but he's, not making as big of a mistake as he did before, but it's kind of not mattering because he's just not keeping it clean through Maggots and Beckett's. The other thing he has to worry about is he's still burning fuel with every lap that he goes around. But even there, where he lets out in Sector 3, he's still up by 8 seconds. We know that I Get Dubs has time that should at least put him in the ballpark range of Zolo or Flavor. He just needs to keep a lap together properly. Reese in 13 is also out in the middle of a lap trying to see if he can improve on his time. The answer, no, he does not. Already, I Get Dubs up by over 4.5 seconds at the end of the first sector. Now he begins navigating Sector 2. Still looking good and clean right now. Now he comes on the run down to Maggots and Beckett's. This is the very important bit. really backs out of it. Doesn't carry a lot of momentum out of it, but he's kept it clean this time. He's up by over 8.5 seconds, and he's actually can push in earnest now throughout the entirety of Sector 3 this time. And to the last 3 corners. A pair of 90-degree corners for chicane, and then this long sweeping final corner across the line, 29.756. That's good enough for 11th. So a respectable improvement on his part. SFR Shu on another lap, he's down by 7/10 in Sector 1 alone. Like I said, I think Shu, Mr. Shark, and Reese are all just right now trying to see what the tire fall off is like as the stint goes on. Reese off by about half a second. Mr. Shark off by a full second right now off of his best time. Mr. Shark off by over a full second, and Shu's also off by over a full second, so a lot of fall off after you put in one hard lap, for sure. And this will be it, because we are at 20 seconds left in the session. I Get Dubs is still out on the circuit right now, but I think he's on a cooldown lap. He's not improved very much on time. His fuel's low as well. But he is guaranteed to make it into the next session. Yep, he's on a cooldown lap officially. So the session will come to an end very shortly here. Basically a glorified 18-minute practice and test session for many of these drivers. Sixth lap on his tires for Reese. Mr. Shark, it looks like he's going to go for 7 laps unless he decides to pit now. Also really stretched the fuel to the full limit, as we can see the light flashing on his car right now. Yeah, 7 laps. And now Shu's the only one left to cross who needs to cross the line before we can come to an end in this session. Here we are, final few corners for the McLaren. And that brings us to an end for what's basically a glorified FP1. As we look at the lineup, the 12 drivers that advanced: Shu in the McLaren, Collie Boy in the Williams, TF Mr. Shark in the Alpine, Reese in the Mercedes, AK Herbie and Zengai both advanced 5th and 6th in the Haas. Zengai did it on medium tires though, while Herbie did it on softs with most everyone else. Garrett Footballer advanced in the Alfa Romeo on medium tires, Dave Ewart and Kinsey Retro in the Mercedes and Aston Martin respectively on softs, Flavor in the Ferrari on mediums, I Get Dubs in the Alpine on softs, as did Zola in the Red Bull on softs as well, as we prepare to get underway for our next round. So now we prepare to get underway for a second round qualifying. 14 drivers. What? Oh, so everyone who so Basic 2 and Extreme F1 ended up automatically advancing to the next round despite not staying any laps, but they are still serving qualifying bans, so they will not advance irregardless. They have both already retired once more. So now the question becomes, what tires do you start the race on? 12 drivers will be trying to cram into 10 spots, so we know 2 people will be left out in the magical, mystical game of musical chairs. First driver to get onto the circuit, though, I Get Dubs 888. He was the last driver to put a time up that he was happy with in the prior session, but he's going to try and be the first one to do it here. He is going on the soft tire compounds. A little bit farther back on track, his teammate TF Mr. Shark is out already, but on medium tires. Now we see both of the Haas's, that's Zengai and AK Herbie both on the way out. Zengai on softs, Herbie on mediums. So right now, a relatively even spread across the entire field. Nav game Maggots and Beckett's is Dubs. Now we're seeing movement out of the Mercedes camp. That would be Dave Ewart, more than likely, who's going to be trying to come out into the circuit. Am I right? No, I'm wrong. Actually, it is Reese. Reese is going to try and get out into the circuit quickly here. GR Footballer has crossed the line also to begin his flying lap. But this man here, I Get Dubs, he's the one that everyone's going to be putting focus on. There's been a little bit of a hiccup there by Mercedes. That would be Reese. I believe he's just pulling over to let other drivers by. But Dubs here is going to try and be the driver who sets the time that everyone will be chasing. Is that Ferrari that's around? No, not around, but pulled over to the side to let others by. That's Extra Flavor. Cruising a little bit later to get on circuit, but now he has to pull over just to let some of the traffic by. The traffic being the drivers who are on flyer laps. Behind I Get Dubs, that is Extra Zola. And Dubs runs wide and invalidates. So that means now that the focus goes to this man here, JR Footballer. He will be the the driver that will likely set a time that everyone else is going to go for. And so it's a 128.708 at this point. Dubs in the middle of another lap. Zengai now goes to the top in the Haas with 27.776. Now we see the McLaren SFR Shoe is now going to start a flying lap. The Mercedes of Reese is still on a warm-up, and he actually wants to open up the gap between himself and Dave Ewart. Doesn't want to have to worry about any aerodynamic wake causing him problems. So with that in mind, the focus goes to XRL Flavor, and like before, I Get Dubs. They're the drivers trying to get laps in now. Dubs exits Maggots and Beckett's. It's clean this time, 105.177 at the moment. 4 corners left for the Alpine. Wait, what? Oh! No, I'm not seeing this wrong. TF Mr. Shark, who has set the 4th fastest time thus far, has had a spin and impacted the inside wall hard enough to rip off the front wing. Now, he's lucky he's able to continue, but a bad incident for the Alpine driver of TAF, Mr. Shark. His teammate Iget Dubs set a time 129.3.424. XRL Flavor set a 29.340. Now we see Dave Ewart, and he's invalidated this lap. SFR Shu has invalidated his lap as well. So now we're kind of in the middle of a waiting period. Unless Dubs wants to go for another lap, but I don't imagine he's going to push for it. So now we're just kind of in the middle of a grand waiting period until another driver can get out onto the circuit. McLaren, off. That's SFR Shu coming out of turn 1. The car is over-rotated into the inside wall. The entire front wing's been ripped off the car. And SFR Shu, who set the fastest lap at the end of qualifying session 1, has not been able to set a lap yet. And now he has significant car damage he has to cope with as well. Zola now making his way onto the circuit, as has Reese and Collyboy. But we're almost halfway through the session, and only 6 drivers have been able to set times. Flavor now bringing his Ferrari into the pits. This man here, Dave Ewart in the Mercedes, he's going to try and be the 7th driver to set a time in this session. As we see him overtake that wounded McLaren of SFR Shu. Final corner coming up for Dave Ewart in the Mercedes. And as he comes across the line, it will be a time of 1:29.310. That's 5th fastest, 2nd fastest of everyone on the medium tires thus far. Oh, 3rd fastest, I'm sorry. Collyboy in the Williams, trying to also get a lap in here. Again, only the top 10 fastest will advance. But it's taking a lot longer to get laps on the board today than it normally does, especially considering how few cars are actually trying to turn laps. And that seemed like bull crap, but okay, the game decides to say that Collyboy is invalidated out of 4 and 5. So now the focus goes to this man here, Zola. He'll be the next driver in position to try and set a lap to advance to the next round. SFR Shu has gotten his McLaren back into the pit lane. Through Maggots and Beckett's once more. In the Red Bull. Zola, one of your main championship contenders, and I will go over the points a little bit more at length in the interim time between the end of Q3 and the start of the race itself. A good result here would potentially vault Zola into the points lead. Despite being a veteran, he has not won a title before in the XRL series in any of their divisions. Zola sets a time 1:29.439 on the medium rubber. But now the focus goes to Reese here in the Mercedes. His teammate Dave on the medium set 29.310. What can Reese do? SFR Shu in the McLaren has also come back out onto the circuit, so he's getting ready to get a lap in again. Kinsey Retro and Collyboy both have yet to come out onto the track to start getting laps in. Fuel lights flashing for Reese, and he invalidates in the second to last corner. And that's at the worst case scenario for him, because now for Reese, he might not get a chance to get a lap in. It's 4.5 minutes left. You take about a minute and a half to complete a lap here. He'll need 3 minutes in order to get another lap just coming out of the pits. He needs to rush around the track at maximum speed, bring it into the pits, put on new tires, put on fuel, and come out. I don't know if Reese is going to get a lap in. If he does, it's going to be right after the checkers fall. He could end up being a wild card. SFR Shu now crosses the line to begin a flying lap of his own now. He crashed out on his first attempt in this session. So 2 of your fastest 4 drivers at the end of Q1 have yet to set their times in Q2. Cully Boy has finally come out into the circuit to begin an outlap. No motion yet from Kinsey Retro in the Aston Martin camp. Zola moves up now to 5th, 128.995. Here, Football brings his Alfa Romeo back into pit lane. We see Reese now. He'll be bringing it down pit lane. So right now, Shu and Zola basically have the track for themselves. I say that, but there is Collie Boy who's ahead of Shu on an outlap. But Collie Boy will likely, if there's a risk, they'll end up compromising McLaren's lap. He will pull over and let the McLaren pass. Only 8 drivers have set times. The top 10 fastest will advance. Kinsey retires in pit lane, so he will not advance. So now the question is, yes, can between Reese and Collie Boy and I Get Dubs and Shu, we're only going to see one man not advance right now, it looks like. Shu goes up second, 27.863, so I Get Dubs is in the hot seat right now. But Reese is still in pit lane and has not yet come on track, and Collie Boy has invalidated this lap. We might not even see a full 10 drivers make it to the next round. JR Footballer now retires in pit lane. Reese in the Mercedes has finally come out of his pit box. With 2 minutes and 11 seconds left, he's cutting it a little bit close. For Collie Boy, he needs to rush around the track as fast as possible. No motion from I Get Dubs to get back on track. Flavor in the Ferrari seems to think there may be a risk that he could still get squeezed out, and he is now going out on track, wants to go faster on soft tires. Am I seeing that right? Yeah. Shu is still out on circuit. Zengai has retired now in the pits. To me, at least, it looks like Reese will make it into the next round. Well, to the line to get a lap in. That he needs to actually set a lap. Same with Collie Boy here. They need to set a lap, and they need to beat I Get Dub's time of 129.424 at the moment. Fuel low for the Williams of Collie Boy. He invalidated his first attempt. He cannot afford to do it again. Shu retires in the pit lane now, as XRL Flavor is coming to the line to start another lap. Only 7.577. And Collie's invalidated! And with that, I don't think there's any chance for him to get in. There's not enough time for him to make it to the line. So he's now spins. He spins. That's it. Now it's just up to Reese. Can Reese advance into the next round? Can Reese get a time in? With that instant by Collie Boy, that means I Get Dubs is automatically locked into the next round. He doesn't have to worry. Now it's just a matter of Reese. Can Reese get a time in? This is his last shot at it. Flavor and Dubs are both out on track, still trying to improve their times, as is TAF Mr. Shark right now. But all the focus is on this man here, Reese in 13 in the Mercedes. If he invalidates, spins, has an accident, it's no good. But as long as he makes it to the line with a valid lap before that clock there is up, he will advance to the next round. For only having 12 drivers, this has been a abnormally tense and chaotic second round qualifying. Mercedes low on fuel, so he's going for one flyer of a lap here. Flavor improves up to 6, 128.944. Mr. Shark has said 28.886 is his fastest. Here comes Reese now. 3 more corners left for the Mercedes. To the line. He keeps it legal. He's in. 28.515.
What's happening, insane?
There we are. Alright. I'm in.
Spit it out.
Alright. Anyway, coming in the party right now is Collie Boy. Collie Boy, it looked like you had an easy shot to make it into the final round qualifying, and then that spin on your final lap invalidated. What happened? What caused that?
Well, I actually invalidated on the S's anyway, on Maggots and Beckett's. I just cut it ever so slightly and invalidated theirs, and then obviously just pulling off track. I thought the cars behind me were much closer than they were, and I went to pull off track and spun it, and then just took the front wing off when I was spinning it. But it's not too bad. It's not too much of a big deal. I should make it up to the front of the pack anyway. I'm quite quick.
All right,
here.
so you think points, or at least a podium, definitely in the cards today. Then
Definitely in the points. Depending on podium, maybe not so much restarting at the back, but definitely in the points. I think as long as I can keep it on track. I need to stop the stupid invalidations and warnings and obviously penalties.
Alright, well, I do want to say thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. We'll be looking forward to seeing you try charge your way up through the grid today.
I'll probably speak to you again about 5 laps in. I hope not, but...
You do realize that when I ask about points, I'm not talking about style points or, highlight reel points, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright. Alright, thanks, mate. Have a good race.
Speak to you later on, mate.
Mm-hmm. So at the front right now, Zengai in the Haas, and then SFR Shu in the McLaren, the second fastest time. So I think Shu is probably going to try and lock himself into a front row starting position for the race itself here. He'll probably do it without too much of an issue as well. Already, we're seeing a quick rush out onto the pit lane. The first one to do it, though, a.k.a. Herbie. Now to Maggots and Beckett's for A.K. Herbie. As we see right now, 6 of our 10 drivers on track. Very interesting scenario because only 10 drivers were able to set, only 12 drivers really set times in Q1 to advance to Q2. Only 10 drivers set times in Q2 to advance to Q3. So this is the first time where we're actually going to have to see drivers really aggressively take to the track with anger Because prior to this, it's just been a matter of, hey, you get a time, you're locked into the next session. So now both Mercedes are out onto the circuit, and we're seeing some movement down pit lane. That would be I Get Dubs. He's trying to get onto the track right now. Herbie, being the first driver out onto the track, is in a good position. It takes you about 4.5 minutes to get a lap in, assuming you're doing one out lap, one flying lap, and then one in lap. 4.5 minutes, multiply that by 3. That is 13.5 minutes. You can take off that final minute and a half for a cooldown lap because of the way the timing sheets work. And if the Haas team is fast enough, Herbie might be able to get 3 attempts in for pole position if he times it right. That is also, though, assuming that they're going for one flying lap on each set of tires, and he invalidates. So much for that, though he may go ahead and just choose to bring it into the pits right away. So now the focus goes to this man here, Reese N13, last driver to set a time in Q2, although it was a respectable time. Now trying to be the first to set a time in the pole shootout amongst the top 10 starters. Already low on fuel, so it's very obvious that in the Mercedes camp there is no real effort to try and go multiple laps on this set of tires. They just want to do one and done. Mr. Shark sets the time that everyone will be going for, 128.563, and now here comes Reese. Can he challenge it? The answer, yes he does. Not only challenges it, beats it very handily by over 4 tenths, 128.134. Now we see SFR Shu come to the line in the McLaren. He goes faster into the 27s where we expected him to be. And now Zengai in the Haas goes faster, 27.674. Here comes DR Footballer. Does he have anything in store for us? The answer, third, 28.058. Dave Ewart now just has a lot of clean track ahead and behind him. It's up to him to get a lap in. Flavor is on an out lap right now. Coming in the line now is the Mercedes. 128.630. 6th fastest at the moment. Flavor coming to get a lap in. TF Mr. Shark's actually staying out because he thinks he can go faster this lap, and he's up by over a third of a second at the end of Sector 2 alone. So he's going to try and move up the grid a bit more in the Alpine. He does improve by over a quarter of a second, but not enough to move him any closer to Reese ahead of him on the timesheets. Now we see Zola and Herbie both out on track right now on out laps. That's the Mercedes of Dave Ewart, who has pulled over. He is on a cooldown lap right now. And Reese already has made it into the pits, like we said. Now we see the Haas of Zengai. He has made it into the pits. Zengai at the top right now, 27.674. SFR Shu going for another shot at it. So the car will be a little bit lighter on fuel, but the tires will be a little bit more worn. It's a tricky balance to try and navigate with that setup. Because yes, you'll be carrying more speed potentially mid-corner because your car is lighter, but the tires will have a little bit less grip, so will the tires be able to maintain the extra speed through the corners? Well, Shu was up by 7 thousandths at the end of Sector 1 there. But one other driver we should look at, XRO Flavor, about to get a lap in here. Final corners in the Ferrari. Puts the power down, 129.270. Herbie has invalidated the lap he just started, so the focus is still on Shu at the moment. Can he improve? And the real question is, can he improve enough to try and take pole position away from Zengai? Out of the final corner comes Shu. Yes, he does. Takes it back. 27.262. So the pole time continues to fall. Focus now. Zola and I Get Dubs. Zola 27.9 at the end of Sector 1. Also of note, Flavor is still out on circuit and actually up on time by a small amount at the end of Sector 1. Low on fuel in that Ferrari, so he might be bringing it in anyways, but he's up by almost half a second. That would be a very respectable improvement that might move him over Dave Ewart here if he can maintain it through Sector 3. No, they're not going to push it. Coming to the line is Extra Zola, navigating the final chicane in the last accelerating corner here. At the line, 128.676. That's good enough for 7th at the moment. I Get Dubs is invalidated. This is not going to help him. No clue how much fuel he actually has left in that Alpine here. But he's by the line and starting another lap. A.K. Herbie also in the middle of a lap right now after invalidating early the prior circuit and was going very, very slow around the track afterwards. Less than 3.5 minutes left in the session. KR Footballer now coming back out of pit lane here. 27.660 for A.K. Herbie at the moment. 8 of our 10 drivers have set times thus far. The spread from the top to the bottom is about 2 seconds. But the spread from first to second is only 0.4. Reese trying to improve. He's up by 500s, but at that rate, that would not be enough to move him up the board any significant amount. He needs to find a lot more in the final sector. So the focus is still on this man here, a.k.a. Herbie in the Haas. We know the Haas has potential. They're second on the timesheets right now with Zengai. Also of note, Zengai is back on circuit trying to take the pole position back away from the McLaren. Reese comes up to third, 27.897, so he found a bunch in the final sector. Herbie now takes second, 127.615. And now I Get Dubs comes out of the final corner, 129.695. Not a great time by that second Alpine car. So now the focus goes to Zengai. He's up by over 1/10. That would be enough to get him by Herbie. That would not be enough, though, to get him back ahead of Shu. Shu has come back on circuit, so all 10 of our cars now out on track trying to get laps in. Final corners for the Haas once more. Bit of a slide out of the rear, but nothing that seems to upset him. To the top, Zengai, 27.227. It didn't even look that fast. He invalidates right afterwards, though. So he'll likely be bringing it into the pits. So coming to the line now, this is TAF Mr. Shark. He has invalidated this lap. He's just trying to get another one going. Dave Ewart, though, is in the middle of the lap. Final corner, big twitch, and a counter steer by the Mercedes. And he faster? No, he lost all the time that he was up due to that twitch in the final corners. He does have time for one more shot at this, though, but only one. A.K. Herbie, he'll come to the line, but he is down by 4 seconds. He'll likely, yeah, this has just been a cooldown lap. He's been restarting his ERS, gonna go for another flyer here shortly. This is I Get Dubs as he's navigating out of the final corner. Can he move up by Flavor? The answer, no, he's down even more on time that time than before, but he is lower on fuel. Shu coming to the line to begin his flyer, his one last shot at pole position. Jared Footballer, who is up as high as third, has been gradually pushed down to fifth, and with 13 seconds left, he's going to try and get one more lap in. Zola has retired into the pits, as has Reese. Footballer up into third now. And he has time for one more lap officially. But as we look at the clock, time's up. Over. Plow. Up by 14 thousandths is Mr. Shark. If he can keep that together, that might put him ahead of Zola for 6th. Dave Ewart on track behind. And Shark invalidates, so the focus now goes to Dave Ewart. Navigating the final corners is the Mercedes. His teammate is 5th. Dave, can he match? The answer, no. He does improve, but not enough to move up the timesheets any flavor. Out of the final corner, he also improves by over half a second, but he was just so far off of Dave's time, it's not really going to change anything. Here comes I Get Dubs. He's low on fuel and invalidates in the 4th to last corner. Herbie comes into the pits. Shu has invalidated this lap. It's up to Jared Footballer. He invalidates in Magnuson Beckett. That's it. Session over. And your pole sitter is Zingai in the Haas. Alright, into the pits now. That should be everyone. And our session will be coming to an end shortly here. So there's your top 10 starters. Of note, though, I Get Dubs really not happy with that Alpine, especially in Magnuson Beckett, nearly a second off of the 9th place driver's time, and Flavor himself is almost half a second off of Dave Ebart's time in 8th. But then you look at the top 7, they're all just barely outside of a second from each other. The top 6 are within a second of each other. First and second, both within 0.04 of each other in terms of fastest single lap. So with that in mind, is now the 5-minute wait until we get to the race itself. So real quickly, we'll go ahead, look at the championship standings as they are. In the Manufacturers' Championship, Alfa Romeo was 10th with only 7 points thus far. 9th is Aston Martin with just 12. 8th, AlphaTauri has 25 points. 7th, Ferrari has 27. 6th, Mercedes has 29. 5th, Alpine has 31. 4th, Haas has 33. 3rd, McLaren has 47. 2nd, Williams has 49. 1st, Red Bull has 52 points. In the Drivers' Championship, things are a little bit different. There's a 4-way tie for 19th between I Get Dubs, Deja Vu TV, Herbago, and Basic. They all have 1 point each. 18th, Arctic Prodigy has 2 points. There's a tie for 16th between Kinsey Retro and XR Dragon. They both have 4 points each. Tied for 14th between Level 6 BC and Reese in 13. They both have 6 points. 13th, XR Jigsaw has 7 points. 12th, Dave Ewart has 11. 11th in points is Dad Stop Gaming. He has 13 points. A tie for 9th between DR Football and XRL Flavor. They both have 14 points. 8th, Herbinator 13 is 15 points. 7th, XRL Lopez is 16. 6th in the driver's points is TAF Mr. Shark. He has 20 points at the moment. 5th, PRUFC has 22 points. 4th is Zingai 654 with 26 points. 3rd is XR Zola with 36. 2nd, SFR Shu with 3-1 with 41. First is XR Velote with 51, but Velote is not running today. Right now, that means that for Shu and Zola, this will be a great chance for them to pounce and leapfrog over Velote for that championship lead today. You look down the grid. Soft and medium tires both have their advantage. Soft will be faster initially. Mediums will have more pace as the race goes on. At the moment, 14th, Collie Boy, he's starting on mediums, but behind him are two drivers, and ahead of him are two drivers starting on softs. Then 11th, Basic in the Ferrari, he's also starting on mediums. Flavor and Dubs will be starting on worn softs. Davey, Wart, Mr. Shark, Zola, Reese, and AK Herbie. So all 5 of your top 10 drivers who will be starting on mediums, they're all together between 4th and 8th position. And then their footballers starting Throwby on worn softs. 1st and 2nd, Zingai and SFR Shu, they both will be starting on worn softs as well. So very, very interesting scenario there. Should be getting underway in a few moments here for the race itself. 16 cars taking to the track. Is standing by right now, waiting to get underway for the race itself. Yeah, we should be going green in about a minute's time, actually. There we are, as we now load onto the circuit here. Four lights, 5 lights. It's lights out, away we go at Silverstone. Shu moving over across the track to try and block the other drivers. What else going to do is just mean that the Haas's will blast by him. It's 1-2 at the top. Dan Stop Gaming has had an accident in turn 1, and we immediately go under VSC here. Well, that was a very, very short-lived run. Very short-lived, like, holy crap, that was nothing. And we're now already down to only 15 cars. Extreme F1 gets a time penalty for a collision with Collie Boy. But under a VSC, everyone's kept relatively close together at least. And we should be going green sooner rather than later, because they've already cleared the wreckage out of the way. Soft, medium, soft, medium, soft, medium, top 6 tire choice right now. Flavor has now been promoted up to 9th. Basic, who suffered that qualifying ban, is now already up into 10th, despite only getting a bit of a straightaway and a corner worth of racing in. But Haas leads 1-2, Zingai and Herbie over Shu. McLaren staying right behind Herbie. Herbie has a big twitch, runs off into the grass, and he will have to give that position away, and now Herbie is out! And Herbie crashes out, coming out of Maggins and Beckett's. There may be damage on Kinsey Retro's car from what happened early on, but already we're just a lap into the event. Well, not even a full lap into the event. We're only going to be a full lap into the event in a few seconds, and already 2 drivers out. Herbie with an amazing start and then throws it away in the very next sector. Well, this means that Shu is now back up into 2nd position within a second of Zingai, so we may still have a McLaren versus Haas fight at the front. Oh, Deja Vu TV is off now. 3 accidents in just 4 sectors worth of racing. This has been a mess. Zola putting pressure on JR Footballer right now. Zola's biggest rival of points is SFR Shoe is in second at the moment. There's also this fight here as I Get Dubs and Collie Boy are going at for 10th position. It's the last of the points main spots. Collie Boy now has it. Dubs wants it back. They'll take slightly alternate lanes through here, but it looks like Collie has that advantage. Now Extreme F1 is going to try and power by the Alpine as they run into Magnus and Beckett's. He gets onto the curbs just a bit, somehow keeps that car from going around. I Get Dubs really not happy with that Alpine at all through these high downforce sections, and Deja Vu TV is out now. 3 DNFs, and we've now completed 2 full laps of racing. This has been rough. And now JR Footballer and SFR Shoe both have to pit to repair damage. We are under a virtual safety car now at this point as well. Now this will drop him behind the rest of the grid, but this has been weird. Extremely weird. As you see Shoe now coming into the pit lane. No, they're not repairing damage on that car at least. They just changed tires, so they wanted to get off the sauce and throw on some mediums as soon as possible. So Zingai now leads with Reese now behind, but over a second out at this point, and DRS has been re-enabled now. And coming to the party is Deja Vu TV. Deja Vu, go ahead and include your audio. You have been in the broadcasting booth before. You know what the thing is. Talk about what happened in those 1.5 laps of bizarreness from your perspective.
Okay, so I haven't been really practicing on F1. So I came from iRacing, and I have not literally practiced on F1 in a while. So that was really bad for me, and I really need to practice next time before a race.
That's it, nothing else.
But like what led to my spin out was me coming off the course and just spinning out, and when I spun out, my tires was really hot. So when I actually got back in, it spun me out. So there's that, you know. Yeah, unfortunate events.
Alright, well, shame to see you out so early, mate, but thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with it and be honest about it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks.
Alright, so we started with only 16 drivers. We're already down to 13. So we're already at the level that we were at the start of Q1. And we're not even 5 laps into this 26-lap race. Dave Ewart hanging on to the back of TF. Mr. Shark with Basic behind, ready to capitalize if something goes wrong. Ooh, Ferrari runs really wide through there. Being caught in all that aero wake is giving him trouble keeping proper grip. Magnus and Beck as he closes right to Dave Ewart. Dave has a big hiccup there, and Basic is walked by like there was nothing going on there. And he'll take advantage, use DRS, and use that to start closing in on the Alpine ahead now. Extreme F1 farther back, gain DRS, and will make an inside overtake on XRL Flavor for the 7th position now. Mr. Shark there behind Zola at this point. Zingai has set the fastest lap. He's just running away from everyone else at the front right now. Ferrari, Alpine side by side. Basic and Mr. Shark, and into one. Shark has it. Basic still wants it. They're still side by side as they go into 2 and 3. And it looks like the Ferrari finally gets it. Alpine tries a crossover, but there's just not enough racetrack there to really perform a proper crossover. Now, The Alpine has DRS back on the Ferrari on the subsequent straightaway, but the Ferrari has DRS off of Zola ahead, so there's nothing that can really be done. This does mean that Dave Ewart might have a chance to do something to Mr. Shark ahead, though. But Basic, who started 11th after a qualifying ban and then some luck kind of floating his starting position off the grid, he's now already up into the 4th spot in this race. Trying to close in on Zola. He's within a second at the moment. Mr. Shark through the grass just for a moment there. It lets Dave Ewart close in. This could be great for Dave if he just navigates these corners properly, or if the drivers ahead fight long enough. Basic within a quarter of a second of Zola. Not able to get by him there, though. Oh, but he's going to try. He's going to try here under braking. Goes to the inside. Takes the position. No, he does not, because Zola fights back. Zola does not want to give it to him, but he's going to have to. Runs out of race room, takes an alternate line. That is the dumbest camera angle you could possibly use, game. Anyways, this now means that TF Mr. Shark has a chance to get by Zola. Zola trying to hold side by side with them. Zola holds the position for the moment. Dave Ewart now wants to get by Mr. Shark. He's going to go around the outside. That will turn to the inside of the subsequent corner. Drag race, contact, and Dave's around. Into the grass. Into the gravel and stuck in a section of the circuit that's going to be a long time getting him turned the right way for. Zola's not going to be happy about that. Zola now trying to just hold on to Basic 2 at the moment. Dave Ewart's finally gotten back underway again, but he has fallen out of the points all the way back to the 12th position. Collie Boy in 13th is just at the fastest lap of the day by virtue of having fresh, soft tires on. But what he really wants, for sure, is a yellow flag or a lot of DNS for drivers ahead so he can get back into the points-paying positions. Zola just barely within DRS range. Well, I take it back. He must have closed, I guess, in the S's because he's not activating DRS down the back straightaway. So Haas, Mercedes, Ferrari, 1, 2, 3. Red Bull in 4th, Alpine 5th, Aston Martin 6th. So 6 different teams representing the top 6 spots right now. Flavor is the highest second car in a team. He is in the Ferrari range 7th position right now. Just kind of cruising on his own. This is Kinsey Retro. He is hanging out in 10th. He sees Shu up ahead, but Shu is trying to run away from him and get back near the front. After he started on worn soft tires, fell down the grid just a little bit, jumped onto mediums to try and get on a more proper strategy as soon as possible. And now Kinsey's around and just barely misses the inside wall there. And this will promote their footballer now into the points-paying positions. Kinsey very lucky to not hit anything, though. Dave Ewart has come into the pits at this point as well. Reese absolutely not keeping pace with Zingai in the lead right now. If anything, I think it's more of a case that he's just losing pace because Basic's gap to Zingai is not falling. Reese just seems to be falling off overall. I think Reese may have an issue of some form or another. Shu now, and Reese is coming into the pits. And gets a time penalty for speed in the pit lane, and he's retired. And he's out. What in the devil is going on? What is this race? This is a meme race. This feels like a meme. Well, now we're down to only 12 drivers left on track. This will bring Kinsey Retro back into the points. Zingai now has a time penalty as well for track violations. And for Kinsey Retro, he's going to want to be careful because Reese's disconnected car will be coming across his nose shortly here. Mr. Shark in 4th now gets a time penalty for track violations. real quickly, as I look through the grid, everyone's good on fuel except for this man here, JR Footballer, needs some more yellow or some instance to happen so he can save more fuel going forward. So keep an eye on him. He may not make it to the end at this rate. But only 12 drivers left as Shu now overtakes I Get Dubs. Dubs wants to fight back. Not an ideal place to do some fighting at, but Dubs does not care. He wants to hold the position over Shu. Shu makes a mistake, and Dubs will get by at Maggots and Beckett's. And because of where it happened, Dubs will have DRS down the straight. The McLaren will not. The McLaren had better exit, though. It's a drag race. They're both around hard in the outside wall. Somehow, Dubs is still alive, but Shu is out of it. A gigantic accident, and that will be a full course safety car. And SFR Shu, one of your championship contenders, taken out in a fight with I Get Dubs. Horrendous accident. And now we are under a full safety car. I Get Dubs will take advantage of this coming to the pits. Now we're down to just 10 cars because Collie Boy is also just disconnected as well. What happened to Collie Boy? Alright, and coming to the party right now is SFR Shu. Shu, go ahead and include your audio. Gigantic accident back there. What in the world happened?
Basically, we were just drag racing to the corner, and the lag just took me out, so not much I can do about it. But
this will be a massive negative shunt for you in the points, especially with your championship rival XR Zola still out there on third. Do you think you can rebound and return back to form next week, though?
yeah, I had the pace today. I shouldn't have pitted in lap 2, so I've kind of put myself in the position, so I've only got myself to blame.
Alright, well, I do want to say thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. Absolute travesty to see that happen. Massive accident. Also, I want to talk to Collie Boy real quickly. Collie Boy, what happened that took you out? We were so focused on what happened to Shu. How did you go out?
I know, that's fun. We were in the party and I was laughing. I put the foot down too much and spun, and it just went straight into the wall. Same corner again for qualifying as well. That's like the third time I've spun there today, so I think there might be something going on with the setup, because it's a corner that I've never spun it, and that's 3 times. And Dave, I've spun there, so I'm going to have to go and do a bit of tweaking to my setup, I think.
Alright, well, very, very strange event though, but just to put things in perspective, Collie Boy, if you had just crashed 1 lap later, you would have finished 11th. It's just been one of those races where it's just like there's no guarantee, no idea as to who is or is not going to be running to the end of this race right now.
I think there's still going to be more incidents, to be fair. The way folk are driving, it's been pretty poor. I mean, that was the first 2 laps. There was like 3 people out. It was pretty ridiculous. Good job. It's just a practice race for me, but I mean, XD tomorrow's the big one, so get some more practice in. Hopefully, should be all good for tomorrow.
All right, good luck, mate, and hopefully you can get the setup issues resolved.
Cheers, mate. I'll speak to you later.
All right, so at this point in the event, everyone except for 3 of our top 4 drivers are now on fresh rubber. Your leader, Zengai, is on soft tires, worn soft tires. He started this race on, and it's not looking great for him because if he's going to have to pit sooner rather than later. Those tires will not last forever. And when he does pit, though, he's going to drop down the order. TF Mr. Shark is now in second on worn medium tires that he started this race on. Basic is third, now with fresh softs. JR Footballer is fourth with moderately worn mediums. He was one of the drivers who pitted on the very first VSC. But right now, it's just a matter of how long does it take for the entire field to get properly gathered up now. Extreme F1 and XR Flavor will catch the field here, but I Get Dubs is about 20 seconds out. This has been wonderful in a bad way for I Get Dubs. He was involved in that massive accident that brought out the yellow flag. Somehow he was able to keep going. But despite that, he's now back in 8th position, but he does have fresher rubber and is now on medium tires. Then you have Kinsey Retro, he's back in 9th, he has fresh soft tires on. And here's the other thing to consider, I've not said anything about it yet, but there is a threat of rain late in this event, so we may not be done with the weird mimetic scenario of this race yet. Sun beginning to be obfuscated by the clouds, and in turn that means it'll be a lot harder to get the track will cool off a bit, and when as the track cools off, it means it'll be harder to keep the tires in their proper operating temperature. So for drivers like Kinsey Retro and Dave Ewar, if they can catch the back of the grid by the time this lap is over, which does not look like will be the case, but they will have slightly warmer tires coming to the green flag. Dave, though, 32 seconds off the back of the grid right now. It's really not looking likely that we're going to be going green shortly here, simply because he's still just now in Sector 2. The rest of the field is about to exit Sector 2. Sector 3 is relatively short. Is that rain? Am I? Oh, okay, so we're going to bring the rain now. It's not going to be in the closing laps. Now we're going to have rain. So rain about to start falling, and for Zengai and Mr. Shark, this may have just turned this race into a stroke of masterclass for them. But do they pit now, or do they wait another lap to pit? No one's pitting right now. As I said, no, Mr. Shark will pit out a second, so they're going to probably throw on intermediates now with the anticipation that when they finally go green, the track will be a little bit more damp. He'll be the first one on the intermediates. He's going to lose a bunch of track time in the track position in the process, so going to go all the way back like the dead last. He's the only one to do the pit, though. But I think we're going to be coming to the green as the track is still wet. And not only do I think we're going to be coming to the green as the track is wetting up, I think we're probably going to see most of the field pitting coming to the green flag because of how quickly the track's going to turn damp. I'm already seeing splashes on the circuit itself. So now, for this man here, TF Mr. Shark, all he needs to do is to be a little bit careful, catch the back of the grid, and he may have just walked into a free win. Now, he does still have time penalties that he's going to have to outrun 3 seconds worth of them, but this could end up being a masterclass strategy in the Alpine camp. Just needs to not be too aggressive with the tires, just kind of roll through the corners so the tires aren't chunking apart as he catches the back of the grid. If he's on the back of the grid by the time we go to the green flag, our leaders will either pit coming to the green or they'll pit in the following lap. If they pit the following lap, that'll be even better for Mr. Shark. Now he is in the winning seat as long as the tires aren't pulling themselves apart because the track's too dry, which it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. He's going to end up overtaking everyone ahead of him because he's made his stop well early. Basically, he's got a free pit stop out of this. So for your leaders, the entire field's gathered up. Safety car coming in this lap officially. Who out of your top 9 pits coming to the green flag? I've seen some weird races before in this league. I think this is going to end up walking out here as one of the top 10 weirdest I've seen in this league. No one at the front is pitting right now. In fact, everyone's staying on track. So Mr. Shark trying to make a big, bold strategy call. Already on the... Oh, wow, side-by-side from Lee brought the bat. Basic did not want to let Zengai get away. We're underway immediately on a wetting track. How many laps will these drivers stay out before they end up having to pit to put on intermediates? That's the question. Basic fighting with Zengai for the lead of this race. Going around the outside. A lot of confidence in that Ferrari. He'll take it by force. JR Footballer trying to hold Zola behind him. Zola has better acceleration, better exit. He'll put the power down, drag race, and it looks like that position easily goes to Zola. There's not much Footballer can do to fight back. I Get Dubs will overtake Flavor as well, a little bit farther back in the grid. Dave Ewart trying to stay behind Kinsey Retro. Mr. Shark's intermediate tires are not letting him keep up with the lead group as well as he wanted. Flavor now gets passed by Kinsey Retro. Here comes Dave Ewart. He's also going to try and get by Flavor in this following corner. He'll back out. No, he thought backing out, and then Flavor backed out. He was right there regardless. Zola in third, looking at Zengai ahead. The Haas really struggling in Maggots and Beckett's right now. It looks like everyone's struggling right now. The track's too dry for the intermediates that Mr. Shark put on, too wet for the soft and medium tires to really get proper grip. Who picks in the lead group? The answer, Basic, Zen, Zola, Extreme, Jared Footballer, Dubs comes in, Kinsey comes in, Flavor, Dave Ewart, and this is it for Mr. Shark. It took a 1 lap longer than anticipated, but Mr. Shark will now inherit the race lead through a brilliant strategy call. As the entire field now comes in to put on intermediate rubber, and Mr. Shark takes over the race lead. It will be between Basic and Zengai for second position. Dear God, 18-second gap between first and second right now. Mother of God. Something went wrong on Dave Ewart's stop because he's come out well behind everyone else on the track. And everyone's just outside of everyone else's DRS range at the moment. We may not see very many overtakes for the rest of this race. I think the field's going to start spraying out quickly now between who has a car better set up for the wet weather and who doesn't. Extreme F1 in fifth. Looking at Zola ahead, he is just within a second of that Red Bull. Yeah, he's gonna get DRS here down the back straightaway. Or not, I guess DRS did get shut off and we just didn't get to see the notification that it was shut off. Oh no, actually it was just never reintegrated. I'm sorry, DRS has just not been turned back on. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see any more overtakes at this point in the race then. Getting offline in wet weather like this is so treacherous. This might be it. Unless Extreme F1 is massively, massively faster than Zola around a lap, I don't think we're going to see him clear that Red Bull. Already, the gap between first and second, 16.6 seconds at the moment. So Basic is running down Mr. Shark at the front. But this is the most active battle on track right now. Extreme F1 trying to close in and fight with Zola in the Red Bull. Well, the Aston Martin has speed. He's within half a second. He needs to find a way to get alongside. He's offline there. The aerodynamic wake is really, really problematic through that corner. Look at how he sucks up under him. The Red Bull had a better exit out of the final bit of those S's there, and now the advantage goes back to the Red Bull. Farther back, Kinsey Retro closes in on I Get Dubs for the 7th position. So Aston Martin cars seem to be well set up in the moment. Kinsey trying to recover from a spin he had earlier in the day that knocked him out of the points paying positions, but now with only 10 cars left, you finish the race, you're guaranteed at least a point. Aston Martin right there behind the Alpine, just can't get by him. There is no DRS in the rain, so yeah, if you're gonna make an overtake, it's gonna have to be either helping the guy ahead makes a big mistake, or you better just be able to have a good enough car and enough skill to make a sheer driver ability overtake. The best kind of overtake. Kinsey gets by Dubs as Dubs has spun. Oh, that ain't gonna help. Well, it's not spun, he's at least slid off circuit. Now he's under threat from XRL Flavor in the 8th position, for the 8th position now. Extreme F1 still within a half second of Zola, still not able to do anything to him. Dave got alongside Flavor for a moment there, was not able or willing to commit to trying an overtake. But look at this fight here, we're back again. This is the same where it was before. This time though, Extreme F1 had a better exit than last time. He's right there in the draft of the Red Bull, within a quarter of a second down the straight. Still can't find a way to get alongside of him though. Twist from the Red Bull, but nothing of significance. The Aston Martin still is within a third of a second of the Red Bull machine. As the rain is gradually getting heavier, I get Dubs now gets a time penalty back there in 8th as he's trying to keep Flavor and Dave Ewart behind him. So 2 different fights going on, a fight for 4th and a fight for 8th position. There we are, he's gotten alongside of him for a moment. This will be a very difficult overtake. He's taking a wildly alternate lane, but he's going to try, compromise his exit line, and that will let Zola pull back ahead. As this fight continues, for 8th, 9th, and 10th, as we right on board Dave Ewart as he's stuck behind Flavor, who's stuck similarly behind the Alpine of I Get Dubs, and the Alpine spins right in front of Flavor. No damage, doesn't hit anything, he'll get underway shortly, but that's not what you want to see happen. And now Dave has his shot to try and go after Flavor. Keyword, of course, being try. It will be 9 laps to go at the line. TF Mr. Shark has an 11-second lead over Basic 2 right now. That lead Ferrari seems to be very well set up for the moment. As opposed, Flavor just does not seem to have quite the pace that he would like to have, and he's still being hounded by Dave Ewart at this point in the event. Mr. Shark, another time penalty at the front, so if he keeps getting time penalties like that, Basic will win just simply on penalty count back. But Basic is trying to outrun basically an entire extra pit stop in a sense. Here comes the move by Dave, a little bit of contact. And Dave sails up into 8th now. The rain's getting harder. Extreme F1 is closed back in behind Zola after a little twitch he had earlier that totally killed his momentum. Going to go for another shot at this position. The battle for 4th continues, but Extreme F1 has time penalties. Zola does not, and Extreme F1 just slid out into the dirt there. That's not going to help him whatsoever. So with that battle's pretty much come to an end. Now it looks like it's just going to be a matter now of how long does it take for Basic to close in on TIF Mr. Shark. 9.5 seconds between 1st and 2nd, but you factor in time penalties as well. It's really closer to 3.5 seconds at the moment. Basic, not the fastest in qualifying. In fact, he didn't get a set of time in qualifying. Doesn't look like it's going to matter. He's going to try and recover after a little bit of fortune early on and a lot of driver skill in this latter bit. He is just queuing and chomping away at that lead that Mr. Shark has. And Shark is not really that far ahead of Zingai either in third. I think Shark it's going to be close, but he's going to try and just have to shoot for finishing this race in third position. But if Basic spins at a second spot, I think Mr. Shark then will re-secure this race win. Less than 8 seconds now between first and second. And if Basic gets within 6, he'll have it. Extreme F1 trying to make another charge on Zola. Aston Martin powered by the Mercedes engine. Zola is in the Red Bull powered by Hondas. The Aston is definitely better around a full lap, and he's able to catch the Red Bull without issue, but he's just not been able to do anything close, even resembling a pass. He's there, he's already within half a second. How does he try to get alongside? Davey Ward pitting out 8th spot now. Interesting, because the intermediate should, in theory, be able to last you almost an entire race distance. And he's only put about 5 laps on, but they're throwing on another set. He may have taken damage in some instant that I have not seen. But that has dropped him back to the 10th spot now. Basic is within 4 seconds, well, just a bit over 4 seconds of TF Mr. Shark in the race lead right now. Here comes Extreme F1. He's got a big run on the Red Bull. Does not try and make a move there, but he's definitely putting pressure on him. Through Maggots and Beckett's, Zola does a good job holding Extreme F1 behind him. But Extreme is within a third of a second. This is the only real active battle on track right now. Although at the rate it's happening at the front, Basic will probably overtake Mr. Shark for a lead in another lap. Final corner exit. Zola running just defensively enough to make aerodynamic wake an issue for the Aston Martin. He cannot get by him, not even under braking right now. Can't even seem to get alongside of him. Now we see the Aston Martin has a run. Does he commit to a move? There's no room on the outside, but he wants to go for it anyway. Twitch from both cars. Flavor spins in Sector 1. That'll drop him back to about the 9th position. Might even be worse if there's damage. This is where our focus is. Well, this and this here, because Basic has a run and is likely going to overtake Mr. Shark for a lead in just a second here. Well, I say just a second, but, well, the gap is less than a second. I don't know if it's going to happen here or not. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. Extreme F1, once again, within a quarter of a second of Zola, still not able to make something stick. Oh boy, Extreme F1 is there. He's hungry. He wants it. He's got to run, but he does not have the confidence to put the car wherever he wants to get alongside. Hounding Zola throughout the entirety of the track. Oh, Zola's twin is right in front, up front. Basic has the run for the lead. Drag race, overtake by Ferrari. Basic finally takes the lead back. Extreme F1 has the run once again on Zola. He needs that Red Bull to make a mistake. It does not seem like the Aston Martin has the capability to get by on his own merit. Into Maggots and Beckett's again. But we can see the desperation. He's going to try and go around the outside, the long way around. Can he commit? Yes, he's going to commit. He's going to make it stick. Zola will have the ability to cross over the final corner, but it looks like Extreme F1 finally gets it pulled off. High risk, high reward maneuver, but now Extreme F1 is ahead of Zola. Now Extreme F1 just has to outrun the time penalty he has. Zola, if he's within 3 seconds of Extreme F1 by race end, he'll still finish in 4th position. A bit of a twit from the Red Bull. And already the gap's now starting to open up. Fresh air for Zola for Extreme F1 means that he can start walking away now. Zola's actually not letting that Aston Martin go as fast as we are anticipating. He's sticking right behind him. Spin. I get dubs out of 8th. And that will let Flavor scoot back by for the 8th position now. And he spins again. Just a corner later. And now that means that Dave Ewart will have a chance to get by the Alpine. Zola seems to lose a bit in Maggots and Beckett's compared to the Aston Martin of Extreme F1. It looks like it could be a respectable day in the Manufacturers' Championship for the Aston Martin camp. They're ranked 4th and 7th right now. There's another battle about to take place here. Zingai now within 2 seconds of TF Mr. Shark and closing at a respectable rate. Zingai might still pull a 2nd place finishing position out of this race. Not really much else on track in terms of battles. In fact, after the rain came and we got about 2 laps after the final restart, the race has really calmed down. Although I will give credit to Extreme F1 and Zola for putting on a nice little show for us, as long as they did. So all the mimeticness and silliness has gone away, and we've kind of gotten really spread out, considering we only have 10 cars left on the racetrack at this point in the event. Zingai now within a second of TAF Mr. Shark as they take the run through Maggots and Beckett's. It will be a Haas versus Alpine fight for 2nd here. And I think for Mr. Shark right now, he's just trying to preserve anything he can right now. He has 6 seconds of time penalty. He's out! He's out! And TF Mr. Shark crashes out of Maggots and Beckett in the closing laps of the event! And they had not yet completed lap 24. I don't know if Mr. Shark is going to get credited with 90% of the distance or not. So now this promotes everyone behind him up another position. Zengai will walk out here with second by default. Zola will still walk out here with fourth, though the third might still be on the table for the Red Bull driver. Yeah, it's definitely on the table now because Extreme F1 now gets another time penalty that puts him up to 6 seconds. Zola's going to finish this race in maybe even second position because he's not a full 6 seconds out from Zengai. So Zola might walk out here with second. This will be a great day in the points fight for Zola. Fastest lap thus far today, Hollyboy 12. But amongst everyone still running on track, that award goes to Basic, who is in first. So Basic looking to walk out here, not with maximum points, because he was not allowed to qualify, so he missed out on the point for pole, but a good 26 points would be a great windfall day for him in the Ferrari camp. And his teammate Flavor reigned in 7th position, as we watch him circle the track right now. That would be fantastic for that team as well. Kinsey Retro right now trying to maybe make a late charge on JR Footballer ahead. Footballer has 3 seconds of time penalties. Kinsey is just about 5 seconds out. So if something was to go wrong for Footballer, like another time penalty, Kinsey might steal 5th off of him. But at the front, this is where all the interest really is. Basic 2, completing his final lap, he has pulled out a 8-second gap over the rest of the grid, and then you factor in time penalties as well. It looks like it's going to be more than that. Ooh. Gets into the dirt on the last lap. He's going to get a time penalty. But again, he has 8 seconds over the rest of the grid. As long as he doesn't throw it away on this last lap, he'll still be good. But Zola has positioned himself to walk out here with a 2nd place finish. That'll be fantastic for his championship hopes. But he needs to close in a little bit more. If Zengai gets away and opens the gap a bit more, Zola's not going to get second. He'll have to settle with third, which would still be good, but not quite ideal. At the front, through the final corners, in the Ferrari camp, Basic. A little bit of luck and a lot of grit and skill will take home the victory here in the Ferrari. For second, the fight is on between Zengai and Zola against the time penalties. Zengai obviously will be the first one across, but it will be Zola who takes second, Zengai third, Extreme F1 fourth. JR Football is going to walk out here with a 5th place finish. Kinsey Retro will come home 6th. Flavor is coming to the line. He should come home in the 7th spot. And that will be rounded out by Davey Wharton 8th, and then I get Dubs in 9th. Hopefully we can get our race winner into the party here. Alright, and coming in the party right now is our top 2 finishers. We want to start with our race winner. Basic, go ahead, include your audio. A fantastic drive, considering that you didn't even get to turn any laps in qualifying, and you dominated that race once the rain came. Walk us through the event from your perspective.
Yeah, from my perspective, at the qualifying, I thought I had no chance. Because I saw Zen pulling away from everyone, and I was like, the rain has to save me. I knew my race pace was good in rain, so that was the only thing that I knew was going to save me.
Well, You absolutely lit that track up, pulled out a gap well over the rest of the field. Got a little bit twisty there on the last lap there. I saw you dip a wheel and a half into the dirt final lap.
Yeah.
All right, also, first and 7th place finish for Ferrari will also be great for you in the Manufacturers' Championship. I just want to say, great job, mate.
Yeah.
All right, I also want to go ahead real quickly talk with our 2nd place finisher, Exo Zola. Zola, very interesting race for you today because your biggest rival in the championship, SFR Shu, out-qualified you and was outpacing you throughout most of the day. He ended up not making it to the end. You walk out of here 2nd, will likely inherit the points leaving today. What do you have to say about your run today?
Well, I'm just trying to regain my championship because I was champion last season, not last season, season before. I'm just trying to get it back. But yeah, well, apart from some people being in AI for over 15 seconds in the race, there's a couple of people that did that, so they're probably going to get disqualified. It was a good race, really. Me and Extreme had a hell of a race at the back. But because we both literally lapping exactly the same, he was faster than me on every corner part because he had more traction than me. We got to the straight and I was gone because I had lower front wing. I think he was running. I think he got this front wing when we went box for wets, but I didn't. And I was running like a 7 front wing, so that's why I think I still had him on the straights. But yeah, that's why he couldn't catch me. But I got that because I didn't get any penalties. I literally got 2 warnings there in the last 5 laps because I was literally pushing as anything I could do that. But that's the only reason why I managed to get the no time penalties. I was more about, this is a track I hate, it's my home GP and I despise it. So I'll take, and this is like now the 6th or 7th race this season in all leagues that I've actually raced a track I hate and I've actually picked up a podium or race win. So.
Alright, outstanding job though, Zola. Irregardless, we'll be looking forward to you putting on similar shows like this over the rest of this weekend and the upcoming weeks then.
Yeah, we'll say it should be a good fight because me and Shu are about similar really in pace overall because we were fighting all last season with each other. So he seems to be faster in like TT and stuff, but I'm faster in overall race pace. My you know me, I don't do qualifying. Qualifying's overrated for me. I don't do it. But so all my pace is in the race. It always has been.
Well, regardless, outstanding drive, mate. We'll be looking forward to you pulling off more of these runs in the future.
Thank you.
All right. And that's the word from our race winner, Basic 2 in the Ferrari, and Exo Zola, who finished 2nd today in the Red Bull. And that will pretty much wrap up our broadcast here for Dev. In about an hour's time on the same channel, you can catch the realistic race, the second to last race in that season. There's still a championship, actually both championships up for play. They'll be running at Zandvoort. I'll be covering the broadcast for that in about an hour's time. Tomorrow, X1 and X3 will be running on the primary and alternate channels, respectively, at 5 p.m. UK time, and then X2 will be running at 8 p.m. UK time on the main channel. Those 3 events will also all be at Silverstone. Until that time, though, I've been your host for today's race, Insane Leader 13. I do want to say thank you to Ocean Lion 08 for trying to be willing to jump in and help. Just technical difficulties kept him from being able to properly broadcast. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching with us today, and I want to say good